Welcome in, everybody. Wow, I can already see that there's some folks here. Coolio. Good deal. Hopefully, everyone can hear me tonight. Last 2 weeks ago, I had a little audio difficulties, but hopefully, it's cleared up tonight. I'm going to cram the whole Carol of the Bells into this one session here. And so it's actually not that long of a song, it's pretty straightforward. So cool. All right. Thank you, Roland. Appreciate it, buddy. So, Guitar Tricks, actually, who's sponsoring our classes here on Wednesday night, have a really kind of an advanced version of Carol of the Bells as well. I'm going to share that with everyone in a little bit. But my version is pretty simple. And if you're kind of beginning to electric guitar, this would be a perfect one for you. It's a great little picking exercise, and it's kind of cool. It's got a neat little rhythm in 3/4 time. Okay, we'll talk about all that. So let me just go ahead and knock it out. And what happens, I'm going to actually play it a few different ways. I'm going to play it with an overdriven kind of metal sound, and I'm also going to play it on a really clean sound that everybody will like too. Now, you will need an electric guitar because my whole version is done up here at the 12th fret and beyond. So unfortunately for acoustic players, you might not be able to access it up this high, but such is life. So let's get on with this thing right here. So I know we're past Christmas, but look at it this way, folks. I still hear holiday music commercials on TV. I'm ready to move on. But if you start working on it now, you'll be rocking it for next year. So there you go. All right. Cool. Hey, Jim, good to see you. Cool. Everyone else, Danny's here. Right on, Terry. Cool. Russ, Peter, Roland. Good deal. Steve in New Hampshire. David Carlton. Cool deal. Yeah, David, you say ready for a blues-based version of Carol of the Bells. I don't know about blues-based, but I'm going to kind of rock it up a little bit here. So let's knock it out. Let me just play it through. And as I'm playing this, folks, and I see Sterling, you're saying you missed the first lesson. Don't worry about it. I had audio difficulties, and we actually just canceled the class because I couldn't get the audio going. So you didn't miss anything. All right, cool. So expand the text underneath the video here on YouTube, and you'll see a little blue link where you can print out the curriculum. It's 1.5 pages of tabs for you. Okay, it's just my arrangement. There's all kinds of versions you can do. You hear what is it? Trans-Siberian Orchestra does a really cool version on my album Earth, Victory, and Heaven. I've got a kind of a rock version with I think 4 different guitars, one playing rhythm. I'll share that with everyone in a little bit. One playing rhythm guitar, and then 3 other guitars playing harmony leads over it with the melodies. Cool. All right, thanks, Mitch. Appreciate it. That Guitar Tricks audio is good. All right, cool. So anyway, here we go. I got a little bit of an overdriven sound, and it's got some delay on it. Okay, so there you go on that. Here we go. And it's in 3/4 time. So you're going to notice it kind of has a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That kind of feel. Think of a waltz, okay? Like a dance. That's the kind of feel of this. So I'm kind of doing this. Okay, pretty short, simple. It's all up there. It's a good picking exercise. There's a couple spots towards the end that are a little pick challenging for everyone, but it's not that hard. We're definitely not going into the shred zone at all on this. Now, before we dig into it, folks, let me give you a version that's on a totally clean sound, which I kind of like the sound of it done with clean guitar too. So let me see my tone here. I'm just changing I got a laptop off camera here that changes my axe effects over there. Okay, let me get the sound here real quick. 277. What's nice about Axe Effects is I can have all these sounds presets, and I can just go to them real quick on my laptop. Okay, now listen to this. Okay, and I'm going to put on that. The first one I did, folks, I was on my lead pickup, the bridge pickup. Gets a little more of a trebly, crispy sound. Now I'm going to be on both pickups. Okay, it's kind of a more subdued sound, but let's check that out, okay? And if you want to vibrato these notes that are real slow, that sounds kind of nice too. Okay, short version for you. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the cleaner sound, the overdriven sound, as we talk about some more of this. And I'm going to turn off the delay, because when I'm playing a song, it sounds cool with the echo delay, gives it a really cool tone. But when we're talking and just working through the licks, it's nice not to hear that echo thing going. Okay, so everyone's all tuned up and ready to go here. Good deal. Hey, Theodore, how you doing? And Zane, cool. All right, guys and ladies. Okay, so the first part of the song is a really neat little lick. Okay, it's all on the third string. And what it is just going back and forth 3 beats, like 1, 2, and 3. Okay, then we jump down on the next string, the second string, do the same rhythm, but with different notes. Now, let me point this out too. We're in the key of A minor. There's no sharps or flats for the most part. There's a couple accidentals or sharps later on in the song. We'll talk about those when we get there. But for the most part, it's A minor. So what I discovered is that this lick, the notes are 17, 16, 17, 14 on the G string. We play that 4 times. And then when we go down to the second string, we're on fret 17, 15, 17, 13. Okay. That's actually a harmony to the first part. Okay. Now, you can't really play them together. You could, but it's kind of hard to get that speed and that clarity. But you can kind of hear the harmony there. On my version, I'll share with you guys in a little bit on my album. You can hear the harmonies come in. It sounds pretty cool. Okay, and then the third section we're going to do 4 times is on the third line in the tablature. Okay, so the first lick I did is the top one, played 4 times, and then see that little, looks like a divide sign, but it's a little diagonal or sideways. That means repeat the previous bar. So you play the first lick, da 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 da. And then you do it again, again, and again. So we do it 4 times. Then we jump down and play the next lick, which is kind of the harmony to it. Okay, we do that one 4 times. And then the next lick, we're on the third line down. The frets are 15, 13, 15, 12. Okay, give me 4 of those. Okay, that is a harmony to the second string. And then all together, if you could play them all as a chord, it's actually. It's very awkward to play all 3 together. And it sounds kind of messy when you do them on one guitar with overdrive. That's why we're not going to do that. We're going to play them individually. When I share with you my song, I recorded it all in Logic as separate guitar tracks. And it sounds way cleaner when you do it that way. So you record each part separately and layer them. It sounds pretty cool. And if you're into studying harmony guitar parts, like some Iron Maiden stuff or some old Night Ranger, any bands with 2 guitar players often harmonize some of their guitar parts. April Wine, that band, rock band, classic rock band from Canada, they've got some harmonies in some of their songs, some guitar harmonies. It's really kind of neat to do. Leonard Skinner, great Southern rock band, lots of harmonies there. Allman Brothers, another Southern rock band, great harmonies there. So this song, Carol of the Bells, the first 12 bars is a great study in harmonizing. Pardon me while I wet my whistle. Okay, just checking in on who's showing up here. John, hey, what's up? David's saying, yeah, April Wine, need some April Wine on guitar tricks. Yeah, I never actually looked, but I guess, David, you already did, and there's not any. And Thin Lizzy, Jim, duh, of course. Yeah, Thin Lizzy. Keep going, folks. There's a lot of other harmonizing rock bands that do harmonies that I haven't mentioned yet, but you get the idea. All right, you guys are pulling them out. Thanks. Okay, so so the harmonies there, if you want to know just a tiny bit of the theory for it, they're in thirds. So what that means is whatever the first note is, the harmony will be 3 letters up in the key we're in. We're in A minor. There's no sharps or flats. So this first note, folks, and even if you don't know about harmony and don't care to, we should at least get to know our notes on the fretboard rather than just being told what fret, 17 on the G string, okay? That 17 on the G string note, what note is that? What letter? It's C. So if you count up alphabetically, just the natural letters from A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and back to A, okay? 3 letters up from C, C, D, E is E. So the harmony for the C will be the E. And if we continue to expand that further, the harmony for the E, go up 3 from E, E, F, G would be a G. So the third part of Carol of the Bells starts on the G. Okay, very beautiful. A lot of classical music does harmonies and layering in this manner too, even when they're not necessarily playing them together. Like this Mozart song, Rondo, it's the Turkish dance. That thing, the first 2 licks Mozart wrote on piano. Okay, that part. The next lick is a harmony. It's a third higher. Even though he's not playing them together, he's playing them separately, like what I'm doing in Carol of the Bells here. Okay. So it's a neat tool if you're into writing songs and wanting to write solos and write melodies. This is a cool tool to know about. Okay. So anyway, we got a C. I'll just quickly go through the harmonies on this the first lick, and then we'll move on to the next part of the song. Okay, so the first note of the first lick is C. The harmony would be the E. The second note of the lick is the B note. 16 on the G string, okay? What's 3 letters up from B? B, C, D. Use your fingers, folks. Okay, it would be D. So the second note of the harmony would be D. Okay, so we go C, B, C. The harmony would be E, D, E. And then the last note of the original, 14 on the G string, that's an A note, okay? So 3 up from A, B, C, that's the last note of the harmony lick. Okay, and then the high harmony is a third higher than the second part, okay? Kind of a neat little sound and neat concept. So you know what, while we're on it, so I can share with you folks the sound, I want you to take a look at this video right here I did. Wait, stop. Okay, let me capture that for you real quick. Okay, I'm going to share something here in the chat window or the comment bar. That's my YouTube link to a video I did. I use a clean tone, and you can hear how I come in with the first guitar, and then when I move up to the higher part, I have my second guitar come in playing the first part. And then when my first guitar goes to the third part, the second guitar goes to the second part, and then the third guitar enters playing the first part. Are you confused? Well, listen to the video and you'll get an idea. All right, you'll hear what it sounds like. And that version I just gave everyone on YouTube there, that's a slightly different arrangement of the song, but you get an idea how the parts work together. Okay, so moving on to the next part, folks. We're on to the fourth line down on the tab. Okay, this is probably the easiest part of the song. It's going to go 17 on the first string, 15, 13, 17 on the second, 13 on the first again, then 17, 15, 13 on the second. Okay, now you could just play them like this, and every note on these 8 bars is going to get, pardon me, every note's going to get 3 beats. Okay, so we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Okay, since it's a lot of space in there, might be really cool to work on your vibrato. Like try to vibrato the notes. And what I mean by vibrato is you're going to shake them. Okay, you can either do the bluesy rock vibrato that goes north and south like I'm doing. See my fingers like this? It's kind of like you're doing a string bend, but we're not going to bend it far. We're just going to subtly bend it a little bit sharp. And not that much, folks. We don't want to even go to you don't even want to go to the next fret. You don't want to go. We just want to go. Still want to keep the focus on that A note. Oops, one more time. Okay, or this is kind of neat. You could do the classical style vibrato where it's not going up and down like the blues or rock guys, but it goes left and right like this. Okay, you just kind of wiggle your finger from left to right. Okay, let me play it without talking. Okay, whenever you're playing something that's kind of slow and just sustaining, it's always nice to have a little vibrato. Think about how a good singer adds vibrato to a note they hold, like Bruce Dickinson and Iron Maiden, vocals there. You know, any singer that's a decent singer in any style of music, usually when they hold the note, think about some of those singers singing the national anthem at some of the sporting events. How when they hold certain notes in that, they'll vibrato. You can hear it, okay? That's really a cool, neat technique to do and work on. And there's a lot of videos on Guitar Tricks on how to do that, okay? So everything I'm talking about here, there's a ton of lessons on the Guitar Tricks website that detail specifics, even talking about the harmonizing, doing harmonies, the harmonization, okay? So yeah. So that fourth line down is probably the easiest part of the song. Give everything 3 beats. Okay. And then we're going to roll into the next 4 bars. Okay. It's going to be on looks like it's similar territory, but we're going to be playing the note with the rhythm we did at the beginning of the song. But instead of playing 3 separate notes back and forth, we're going to play one note. So one note's going to have this rhythm, then another note like that. So check it out. Okay. And then the next line. So if we look at those 6 bars, it would be bar 21 through 26 on your page. Okay. We start with 15 on the second string, 17 on the second string, 13 on the first string, back to 17 on the second string, then 12 on the first. I know it's the same note as the 17, but we're moving here to set up our hand position for the next part. Okay, 12 on the first, 14 on the first. Whoa, wait a sec. Do you notice in the music there's a sharp sign on the right side, the left side of that note? That's an accidental. That's a note that's not in the key of A minor. Okay, that's actually an F sharp note. And sometimes some songs will play notes that aren't in the key. That's okay. If you know what you're doing and you're creative with it, really any note can work. Okay. And if you're writing your own song or melody, any note can work. You just got to make it sound good. Got to make it sound musical. So another cool writing tool, folks, is to take a rhythm that's been established, but apply that same rhythm to different notes. Okay. So instead of playing like this, 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, with several notes, we're just going to go one note, 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, and 3. Like that. So all together it goes. Up to that point there. Okay. And then, by the way, too, a good right hand picking. I didn't put this on the sheet because I don't want to give you everything on paper. I didn't even put the fingering. So in order to, if you really want to get the good fingering, you need to watch this video. Okay. So the picking I would do on that is down, down, up, down. So all the quarter notes, or the notes on the beats, are always down. 1 is the down. Then the next one is 2. And then ands are always going to be up. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. Or down, down, up, down. Down, down, up, down. Okay. And let's grab the last 2 bars on that first page. Okay. Now we've got a few notes. It's not going to stay on one note. It's going to switch. Okay. It's 15 on the first string, then 13 to 12. 12's picked twice. Same picking notes, the same rhythm. It's the 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, and 3. We're going to do this last lick twice. So altogether, that 8 bars, bar 21 through 28, the bottom 2 lines on the page there, folks, goes. Okay, zipping along here. Okay, let me take a break for a sec on that. Everyone, I'll let you digest that for a few minutes, see what's happening there. And then on page 2, it gets a little trickier. There's more notes. It's a little bit faster. We'll talk about that in one sec. Since we're doing this Christmas song, and I know, or holiday song, and we're past the holidays, I know we are, but let me share with you a few other things here. On Guitar Tricks, they've got some really easy beginning style lessons for Christmas songs, holiday songs, but there's also, I'm going to share another link with you people. Let me grab this real quick. Boom. We got one of the other instructors on the site, Christopher Schlegel, does a pretty cool version of Carol of the Bells. And he's got layers of all multiple guitars, kind of like what I'm going to share with you off my Earth, Victory, and Heaven album, where it's a little more metal sounding than the first version I showed you. Okay. But Christopher's got some volume swells in there. And when you listen to it, obviously, you'll know it's Carol of the Bells, but he does his own arrangement of it. Okay. These songs it's really an old classical tune. And you can rearrange it. I hear all kinds of different arrangements of it. I asked Trans-Siberian Orchestra. They do their own arrangement of it. And it sounds pretty cool. It's pretty rocking. So check out his, and then let me share another one with everybody. I know this isn't Carol of the Bells, but this is always a fun one, and I'm going to play you a little bit of it. But another lesson on the site, the classic Jingle Bell Rock. I'll give you folks the link for this. Now, again, if you're it's hard for me to talk and do two things or do this. There we go. All right. Yeah. So if you are a Guitar Tricks member, awesome. You just got to log into the site and click those links and it'll take you right to it. If you're not a Guitar Tricks member, it'll take you probably to their landing page and say you got to sign up or subscribe. You need a membership. And they've got some good deals going. It seems like they always have some promotion of one type or another going on. And it's not that much. It's very affordable for the amount of information and lessons on the site. it's really economically, it's worth it. Okay. And then on top of that, we offer live coaching or live one-on-one guitar lessons through the site as well. I'm one of the instructors. I handle a bunch of their students. And it's good to check in. I know a lot of people tend to want to learn on their own from YouTube videos and this and that. But honestly, if you do that, folks, you don't really know if you're getting it and doing it right. And when you have an instructor that's good, they can see maybe weaknesses in your playing and help direct you to fix and correct issues that you might have where otherwise you might not have even known that. And that's the problem with like this session right here, for instance. I'm giving everyone a lot of information. Maybe some of it's good for you. Maybe some of it's over your head, but I don't have any way of hearing what you're doing to help you out to see if you're getting it or not. So that's what's good about just even having 1 or 2 lessons with one of our guitar instructors at Guitar Tricks. They can help straighten up things, because as soon as I hear a student play or anyone play, I instantly can tell where they're at with stuff. Okay. So, hey, Kyle's here. All right. Aha. Cool. Appreciate the kudos, Kyle. Yeah. Awesome. All right. So that's my little sales pitch for Guitar Tricks and then the one-on-one lessons. So there you go. All right, cool. So Jingle Bell Rock, I'm going to kind of take a detour. We're going to come back to Carol of the Bells in a sec. Jingle Bell Rock, I just gave you a link of the big lesson for it on Guitar Tricks. Michael Lecky's the instructor doing that one. I'm going to change my sound for that because this will sound way better if we don't have that heavy metal sound. So let me get this going here. I remember I've heard the song, it's been around forever. Bob, I think, who's the composer of that? I think is Bobby Helms. Bobby Helms. And I remember watching Saturday Night Live when I was way younger and seeing back when they had G.E. Smith was the leader of the band, the house band for Saturday Night Live. He would, during the holidays, they'd play Christmas songs as like bumper music going from the show into a commercial break and then back into the show. And I remember one time I saw them doing this, and it's like the way he did it, the intro to it. 2, 3, 4, 1. Isn't that classic? It's kind of like a sort of a Chuck Berry kind of thing. And it's the melody of the song. You hear the Jingle Bell melody built into that little intro. Very cool. So what G. Smith was doing, I didn't know it at the time, but he was doing his version of the Bobby Helms song. Let me just check out the comments here. David Carlton saying, next to the last line, first 2 bars, Christopher begins the run on the 5th string, 19th fret. Does tone or the pattern drive you to your string choices for that skill run? Yeah, Dave, a little bit, but also just what feels comfortable under the fingers and what's economical. You're saying begins the run at the 5th string, 19th fret. Oh, that one. Here we go. There we go. See, that's a position I'm not as comfortable in. For me, everybody, I like to keep things as on few strings as possible, but spread it out linearly on the guitar. See, rather than going, I would go. See, I'll keep the same notes on 2 strings rather than going into 3 strings. Me personally, because that way you can reduce the amount of string changing you have to do, because that's one of the challenges for, pardon me. All right, sorry about that. I should have hit the mute button. But string changing is one of the hardest things for guitar players, especially beginners. They always tend to hit maybe another string by mistake. And as we get better, that reduces, and ultimately we want to shoot for hitting the correct string all the time. Okay, so if we reduce the amount of string changes we do, that'll help make things easier. That way we can focus on one or two strings. So that's my philosophy for that, Dave, just to keep it. See, that lick for me is on 3 strings, and it's a lot of 3 notes per string, except the first 2 notes. Then 3 notes there, and then 3 notes there. Where I think Christopher's, if I don't have his tabs up or his music in front of me, but based off what you said, starting on the 5th string, 19th fret. See, we got that 1 note on the 2nd string. Good. Yeah. Okay. And you just, if I needed to play it that way, I would practice it a few seconds and get it tight. But I like this way better because it's only 3 strings instead of 4. And sometimes you can also throw in a hammer-on or pull-off when you got the notes on the same string. If you're switching strings, obviously you can't do a pull-off from the 3rd string to the 2nd or the 2nd to the 3rd. But if I put those notes on the 2nd string, I can pick it all on one string without having to switch strings, or I can go maybe a hammer-on, or maybe pull off the last 2 notes. Okay, a lot of options there, folks. Yeah. All right, let me just check out what Dave's saying. Jim's saying, good point. Dave's got to do that. All right, cool. John, appreciate it, man. Metal version is good too, Dave. Yep, cool. Dave's saying your string choice seems more shred based and less classical based. But yes, the higher strings sound better to me. Yep, cool. And folks, this is just my version. If you come across a few other guitar players with their own arrangement of it, I'm sure we're all going to be slightly different. But the thing is, you want to keep the themes there. However you arrange it is up to you, but you want to keep the themes there so when people hear it, they recognize, hey, that's Carol of the Bells. You don't want to brutalize it and end up not sounding like Carol of the Bells. Yeah, David, no problem. Cool. And John's saying what's great about this is that you've heard this music but never put it into this context, Carol of the Bells. Yep, exactly. Yeah. I like doing that with classical music and music that's not for guitar, like piano, violin music, cello music. That's for me what I like. But other musicians like doing Indian style music and other instruments, sitar music, try to work it out on guitar. It's cool. It's a challenge. If you're at that level where you've, kind of mastered guitar, we never really fully master the guitar, folks. But if you feel like you've, come quite a way and you want to go beyond just playing rock and blues licks, it's nice to try to learn some licks from a saxophone or a trumpet even. And I know a lot of jazz musicians do that. They'll transcribe saxophone, John Coltrane runs and Miles Davis runs. Okay, it's really cool to take other instruments and move them, try to figure out how to play it on guitar. Okay, it opens up a lot of things too. You'll discover some new ways of doing licks, some new ways of doing your chords too. Okay. Yeah. All right. So Jingle Bell Rock. Mike's got a really cool version of it. I'm going to play my short version of Jingle Bell Rock, if you don't mind here. So watch this. 2, 3, 4, 1. Get the idea there. What I've done is I've taken the melody and tried to weave that into the chords. So we call that chord melody, all right? Because essentially the first chord is just D, right? But I'm taking the melody. Okay, all of that is basically following the D chord. I'm doing D, the high note is B. Then I switch to a D major 7. It's got the C sharp up top. That's the next note of the melody. And then the next note of the melody goes to a B, back to C sharp and B, but it's still the D chord. So I'm going to bar the D, pardon me, at the 7th fret, strings 4, 3, 2. And then I hit the first string as well. Okay, you can think of that as a D6 chord. D major 7, D6. And then I strum just the D strings 4, 3, 2. So I stop on the 2nd string. So you hear this built into the chords. If I just play the chords, though, it doesn't sound like the song. It's missing something. If we heard the vocalist singing, you wouldn't miss it, all right? But since I like to do this instrumentally, I'm not a good singer. Okay. Let me just real quick. Theodore's saying, and you have an album about to come out? I don't, Theodore, but I do have an album I did about a year ago. I'll share that with everybody here. Well, it's called Earth, Victory, and Heaven, and it's on Spotify and YouTube. But let me do this for you here real quick. I got one more link I'm going to share with you. Oop, you know what? Let's not do that. Sorry. This isn't about advertising. Okay. I'll give you this one. This is me playing. When I recorded the album, Theodore and everybody else, I had the guy who mixed it for me and helped produce it for me. I had him make me backing tracks of the entire album without the main one, the top lead guitar. So what I'm doing here in the video you're going to see is in my old studio is I'm playing the main guitar 1 live, and you'll see what I'm doing right there. It's very close to what we're doing today, but then you're going to hear drums, you're going to hear bass, and you're going to hear a rhythm guitar, and then 2 other lead guitars playing those harmony parts. Okay, that is that. And I think if you look at the text under this video, you're going to notice it says the album, Earth, Victory, and Heaven, and where it's available on iTunes, blah, 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 all that stuff. But here, this is Theodore. You can check that out if you like. And then Russ is saying, what again is this style type called? I'd be happy doing this all the time. Yeah, it's because Carol of the Bells is kind of like a classical tune. It's classical done with a rock tone. If that's what you're talking about, that's kind of like neoclassical is a musical term for that type of playing. When rock guitar players play with an overdriven sound, kind of aggressive, but they're playing classical sounding licks and melodies. Okay. And then what I'm doing here, though, Theodore or Russ, is this is a little more jazzy, because jazz players play chord melody a lot, where they'll play the chords and then weave the melody up on top. Kind of autumn leaves with the chords and the melody built up top. Okay, it's a really neat technique. It's a little complicated. I'm doing that with a couple of my students, but you get the idea. Okay. Oh, Second Chance Band from Connecticut joining in. Been busy. Hey, Happy New Year, everyone, too, by the way. And Marianne, Second Chance Band. Cool. Glad you can make it, Marianne. Just kind of cramming Carol of the Bells into this one session tonight, because I meant to kind of take it over two weeks, but the week before the holidays, I had a little audio difficulties with the YouTube, and we had to cancel the class. But got that all straightened up tonight, so glad you could make it. Russ, that's chord melody is what I did Jingle Bell Rock, doing this kind of thing, Russ. One more time. See, all that is still the D chord. Now it goes to G. So I switch to a G triad, then that C sharp, and then the G chord all the way to the second string with the G note. Then the next part's an E minor, so I play E minor, but the melody goes. So I go. And then the next chord is A major. So you hear the melody. If you play the melody, it's cool, but it sounds kind of just dry because it's by itself. If you play just the chords, it'll be actually. Okay? They don't sound like the song. But if I put the two together, there we go. Then a G chord with a kind of goes to a flat, a minor third, G major, and then in the sharp 2, I guess you could call it, like a altered chord. That's pretty cool too. That's kind of like a G7 with a flat 5. And then repeats. So you got 3, 4, 1. Anyway, you go on Guitar Tricks. Mike Alexi's teaching the Bobby Helms version, which the intro is almost identical to what I'm doing because I try to learn it the same way. But then the Bobby Helms version, the chords does something a little different than what I came up with. But it's okay. As long as you still play the song so it's recognizable, people will love you. All right, let me just keep up with the comments here. Yeah, Marianne, I hope you had a good holiday with your band. Probably some good gigs for you. Cool, cool. Thank you. All right, cool, Rush. Yep, you're welcome. Yeah. All right. Dave's saying, I like the chord melody style too. Would be nice to have some instrumentals like that on Guitar Tricks if they don't have any. Yeah, I think Christopher Schlegel might do some things on that, some lessons on that style. In fact, yeah. But you got a good idea there, David. Yep, for sure, for sure. And this is another one. And then we'll come back and wrap up Carol of the Bells. This is a neat technique. I think everyone's going to like this. Are you familiar with using an echo delay? Rhythmically, you're going to play, they call it a dotted eighth note delay. It's like the Edge in U2 does this a lot in the band U2. And Ed Van Halen does a dotted eighth note delay with his volume knob when he's echoing, using the volume knob to go from no sound up on the song Cathedral on the Diver Down album. He does it a little differently than what I'm going to play right here. But I'm going to take another holiday song. It's actually a Bach tune called Hey Sue, Joy of Man's Desire. And I know you're familiar with it. Okay. Let me do this just so you hear what it sounds like first. I'm going to play it with no echo delay. Just a quick slap back. Okay, you've heard this before. And there's a whole bunch more after that, but I'm just going to play that for now. I'll bet everybody there is familiar. Everybody that's watching right now, I'm sure you're very familiar with that. Now, check out what I'm going to do. I'm going to add in the dotted eighth note delay, and I'll explain that to you in a sec, but I think you got to hear it first, okay? Hear how it's set up? Okay, now, I'm going to palm mute it, all right, like this. The trick is, though, I need to play in time with that echo. So I can't play faster or slower. I need to make sure I'm in time with the echo. And the way you get good at playing in time is practicing with a metronome. I know how much everyone loves the metronome, but if you're going to get the hang of this technique, you've got to play it bullseye perfect in time, because if you start going a little faster or slower, it just starts to sound messy. And so, when the Edge and U2 is doing it on When the Streets Have No Name and a few other U2 songs, or Eddie Van Halen's doing it on Cathedral, they got to play perfectly in time with the echo to get this cool effect. It makes it kind of sound like there's two guitars or there's something else going too. Okay, I'll explain to you what's happening. I'll break it down, but check this out. Okay, let me get in time with it. Okay, so listen, I'm going to play. I need to play my pick. I need to get it in time so it's going. Yeah, exactly, David. Welcome to the jungle. Dotted eighth delay, the beginning of Guns N' Roses. Welcome to the jungle. Slash is doing something with that. Whatever he's doing there at the beginning of that song. But what I'm going to do, you got to play in time with it. So if I start going too fast, here's the goal, is I want to hear an echoed note between my two pick strokes. See, if I do this, the echo is at the same time as my note I'm picking. And if I go too fast, it sounds messy. I got to find I got to settle it down. Right there. You hear that? So I'm picking da 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 da, but you're hearing da 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 da. Digga 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 digga. But my pick's only hitting 8 notes. Okay, so check this out. Sounds pretty cool, huh? Let me try a different pickup. Okay, so you got to just sit with the note and just try to get your timing, your pick. You want to time it so that the echo comes between my pick strokes. See, if I go too fast, it's not right. If I slow it down, see, if I go too slow, we don't hear it because it's echoing at the same time as my note. So you can just create, Brian May from Queen, of course. And there's some really cool, you know what? There's an artist study on guitar tricks on Brian May. I'm pretty sure I saw it there. And I can't remember the instructor who taught it, but I wouldn't be surprised, or actually I would be surprised if there's not in that tutorial a couple lessons on this dotted eighth note delay. Okay, something worth exploring. If you got a delay pedal, it's kind of a fun thing to do. Okay, also too, notice I was palm muting, because if I don't palm mute, it sounds kind of messy because my notes are ringing out and they kind of. See, it sounds kind of messy. If I palm mute, it sounds nice, clean, and tight and precise. Yeah. All right. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get back to Carol of the Bells, everybody. What sound was I using there? I got so many presets. I got to write down the numbers because they're all over the place. There we are. Okay. All right, cool. Let me get another sip of the beverage and then we'll get going. Hey, man. Oh, boy. Manuelito, I think, Fernandez. Hi from New Zealand. Sweet. Good to see you there. All right. Feel free to ask questions, everybody. I know some of the viewers are saying a lot of stuff, but I know there's a lot of other viewers watching too. Okay, let's flip over to page 2. And I do believe I've covered everything. I wanted to let everyone know about the song, the holiday Christmas song lessons that are on Guitar Tricks, as well as sharing with you a couple of my versions of Carol of the Bells that I've posted on YouTube over the years. Okay, flip over to page 2, everyone. There's not much there. There's only basically two staff lines, and then the bottom one here, one more bar. But this is probably the hardest part because there's a lot more notes, and it's kind of moving along. So if you look at the first bar, we're at 17 on the first string. At 17, we're going to pick it 3 times. And then 15, 13 once on the first string, once a piece. The picking I would do is down, down, up, down, up. Excuse me. Down, down, up, second string, it's the same thing. Go to the second string and pick it the same way. Same frets, same fingers. Okay, so those 2 bars. And by the way, everyone, a good way to practice these ideas I'm giving you is don't try to play through the whole song all the time. Might be good when you first get it. If you're working through it, try to play through it once. But obviously, you're going to find certain spots, areas you need to work on. The best way to learn something, everyone, is take just a couple bars at a time. Like that first lick of the song. If you can't do that and making it sound like that, correctly with the right rhythm, and 4 times, not 5 or 3 times, but 4, is probably not good advice. In fact, it's not good advice to move on to the next part. Okay, you should stay with what you're working on until you've mastered it, because trying to get too much learned too fast is very weak, and you kind of forget parts. It's not solid. So like we're working on this right here, just camp out on that first bar. Work with that until you got it sounding like that. And then go to the second string, same thing. So go. Okay, we don't want to go, even though that's the right notes, it doesn't sound like the song. Okay, we want to make it sound like da 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 da. That's the rhythm of these next 3 bars. In fact, the next bar is the same rhythm. So you hear this rhythm 3 times. 1, 2, and 3, and 1, 2. 1, 2, and 3, and like that. Okay, and then so all together. And then the last bar at the top of the page, everyone, that's bar 32. It's the very first bar of the song played one time. Okay, so all together, the top line, page 2. One more time. 2, 3. Okay, let's get on to the next line in 2 secs. I know I saw some other comments piping in. I think it's Demi. Cool. Hi. And then Second Chance Band saying, would love to hear you play Carol of the Bells straight through at tempo. I know I was late. It was at choir rehearsal. Absolutely. Marianne, I'll definitely do that. Let me finish the last lick and I'll close out with it because we're almost done in like 5 minutes anyway. Absolutely. I'll close out with it with a rock sound. And then Kyle saying, what BPM do you play at and suggested practicing at? Good question. I don't think I put the tempo there. Nope, I didn't. And I don't remember what my exact tempo was. Let me fire up Mr. Metronome here. Okay, let's see what that is. Okay, so I got a tap feature on my metronome. So I've kind of doing it at this tempo. Da do da do da do da do. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So that's about 150, 155. 1, 2, 3. Kind of like that, Kyle. And answered your question about 150, 155, 160-ish is the zone. But here's the deal, folks. If you can't, in fact, when you first learn something, I wasn't able to play it at that speed right away, especially these licks, until I figured out a good fingering for it and practiced it a little bit. So, Kyle, you definitely want to do that puppy slow at whatever tempo that you can play it at. So if we're at, like, say we're at 100, which is a lot slower, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The objective is to be able to play it all the way through at 100 or 80, wherever you're at, even though it's crazy slow. If you can't do it in time at 100, you probably can't do it at 150 or 140 or 130 or even 120 either. Okay, so really, folks, try. It's humbling, but take it slow, man. I'm working on a lot of new ideas. I'm taking guitar lessons from a great Spanish classical player here in town because I'm like that style. I want to get good at it. I'm not good at it. So I take lessons from someone that is, and I'm working on a lot of these licks. I'm writing and I'm learning and transcribing from really good Spanish classical players. I got to play them slow. If you ever heard Paco de Lucia or Al Di Meola, all right, that kind of style, those are high caliber players. And when I'm transcribing and learning their stuff, there's no way I can play it that fast yet. Okay. Well, maybe not even that fast ever because they're crazy fast. But still, if I can get up to like 160, 170 beats per minute, that's pretty fast, even though they might be faster than that. So definitely, folks, it's no problem to slow it down. Okay. So let me stop talking here and wrap it up. The next section, everybody, starts on the 14th fret, 4th string, and goes. Those 2 bars, okay, 14, 16 on the 4th string, 13, 14, 16 on the 3rd. Then on the 2nd string, it's 13, 15, 17. Then back to 15, 13 as quarter notes. It actually goes twice, okay? And they're steady 8th notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2, 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2, 3. And then the final lick on the page says repeat until fade. Because on my album, I just kind of play it until it fades out. It's the same, it's the beginning of the song, just played over and over again until it fades out. Okay, so the whole ending part, and then I'm going to play the whole thing from the top one time through for Marianne and everybody else. And there was one other student that wanted it to. So hang on tight. So the top of page 2 altogether goes like this, everybody. Okay, here we are from the top, and then we'll shut the puppy down. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All right. Fun stuff tonight, everyone. Thanks for attending, and hope everyone had a great holiday, set of holidays. Happy New Year to everybody. Next 3 weeks on YouTube, these Wednesday night classes, we're shifting gears. No more holiday music until next year. We're going to be working on some Texas blues. So tune in. I'm going to get my Texas blues chops worked up, and we'll be working on some cool blues stuff for a few weeks, 3 weeks in a row, actually. Okay, so that's what's coming down the pipeline. Everybody have a great night. Second Chance, Marianne, thanks. John, thank you. Happy New Year to you too. Theodore, Jim, yep, Sterling. Cool, everybody. Roland, Zane. Awesome. Appreciate the attendance, everybody. And feel free also to comment if you have some ideas for some subject matter, some styles, some things you might want me to cover in these lessons. I'll create some simple curriculum for it and talk about it. Okay. So feel free to do that, or you can shoot me an email, reach out to me on my website, davecelentano.com. Or if you're a Guitar Tricks member, you can write me in the forum on the Guitar Tricks website. You can reach me there, give me some of your input, maybe some ideas you might want me to cover. So everyone have a great night. I'll see you next Wednesday. All right. Peace, everyone. Keep practicing. Keep them fingers flying. Okay. Bye.